Hi everyone, my name is Claire. I am the social worker with the Notre Dame family of schools, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about our thoughts and the ways in which our thoughts impact our feelings and our behaviors, and then share with you a couple ideas of things you can do to pay more attention to that and also try to think in ways that lead to us feeling better and behaving in ways that are a bit healthier and more in line with the kinds of people that we want to be. Our thoughts and our feelings and our behavior are really closely related. And so if we find that we are feeling, not so great, or behaving in ways that also may not be that great, we can go back to the thoughts and considering the thoughts that we're having in order to see how is that contributing, and are there things I can do about those thoughts? Are there ways that I can think differently to hopefully feel better and then behave in ways that also are more in line with who I want to be and how I want to act and how I want to treat people? So there's a couple things that we can do about that. First, I would encourage you to write your thoughts down or to put your thoughts somewhere. We are thinking constantly, and sometimes we don't pay very close attention to what we're thinking. And so by using a practice of journaling, or even just opening up a memo in your phone and typing a couple things out, or making a list, that can help us to put our thoughts down somewhere where we can see them, we can hold them, and it can help sort of remove the burden of our thoughts a little bit from just being stuck in our mind. And once you have those thoughts in front of you, then you have more information in terms of what am I thinking? So that's just one basic strategy, is write them down, put them somewhere, or see if you can contribute to a practice of just noticing your thoughts more often. If you don't want to write them down, that's okay. But I'd encourage you a couple times a day, especially if you're feeling a strong emotion or if you're behaving in ways that you don't like, pause for a second and notice what you're thinking and pay attention to that. Another strategy is to ask yourself, is this true? Because we think so many things and we have so many different beliefs and perspectives and values, but we don't always spend time evaluating where those come from or how realistic they are. So another strategy is just to stop for a second and say, is this true? And how do I know that this is true? If it is true, then I'd encourage you to find some ways to cope with that, and you can refer to some of the other videos that we've put out around coping strategies. And if it's not true, if you ask yourself that question and then you realize, oh, maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe I'm feeling a lot of emotions right now which are causing me to have, this big thought, then there might be ways that you can reframe it. And sometimes people do that just by, changing the thought to something more realistic. Or they have more positive thoughts that they repeat to themselves on a regular basis, like a practice. So you might have a positive affirmation or a calming affirmation that you say to yourself every morning, or that you have in your phone or have on your desk to pull out when you notice you're stuck in a thought that doesn't feel good. And so it could be something like, this too shall pass. It could be something like the serenity prayer, asking for the serenity to accept the things we cannot change and the courage to change the things we can. It may be, I'm doing the best that I can. It can be anything that makes you feel a little bit better or a little bit more grounded in reality. So those are 3 really basic strategies. There's so many that we could talk about, but I would encourage you to pay attention to your thoughts and don't believe everything that you think, especially if it's making you feel really worried or really angry or really sad. Pause for a second and ask yourself, what are the thoughts that are leading to that feeling? Are they true? And are there ways that you could reframe those into something a little bit more realistic? Write them down. Sit with them, question how true they may be, and try and see if you can replace it with something a little more positive that makes you feel a little bit better. Because we know when we think more rationally, we feel better, and when we feel better, we act in ways that are healthier and safer and more in line with the people that we want to be. So I'd encourage you to practice some of those things. I'm going to share some resources with this video where you could further do some exercises and practice around this, and I hope that it does result in you feeling better.